Alright, so welcome to another Sunday of In the Kitchen with Tom. And I'm not actually a chef or anything like that. I just play one on YouTube from time to time. So last week I was here in the kitchen. I made blueberry muffins with a swirl in them. And I went to Costco and I got the blueberries, so I bought this gigantic box of blueberries. And I had blueberries left over, so this Sunday, it's a little bit of an overcast, if not even a stormy day here in beautiful Southwest Florida. I thought that I'd dig through this recipe book, The Best Breakfast and Brunch Recipes from Cooks Illustrated. And lo and behold, there's a recipe in here for a blueberry bundt cake. So I ran down to the store and I got a nice little bundt pan. And I'm going to make a blueberry bundt cake. And I was reading through this, and I guess that one of the challenges of making like a blueberry bundt cake is adding the blueberries, And the author of this recipe here, Dan Souza, he went on to elaborate about how he did all these different experiments with blueberries to get them just right as far as breaking it down almost to a puree. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. We're going to add some blueberries with some other ingredients to a saucepan and bring that down, and then we're going to take the rest of the blueberries and put those into a blender and chop them up, mix them up, or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, and hopefully at the end of the recipe, it's going to be a nice dessert for tonight's dinner. So let's go ahead and I'll tell you what the ingredients are here. I've already done a lot of the putting together of the ingredients to get this thing started. Alright, so the ingredients for the marbled blueberry bundt cake, which serves 12 by the way, the ingredients for the cake are 3 cups or 15 ounces of all-purpose flour, and 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and ½ a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So you mix all of that together in a bowl just as I did here. And then continuing, it calls for 3/4 cup of buttermilk with 2 teaspoons of grated lemon zest and 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I've got that right here, the buttermilk, the grated lemon zest, and the 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Also 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So you've got the vanilla extract in there as well, 2 teaspoons of that. Over here we have 3 large eggs at room temperature and 1 large yolk. So 3 large whole eggs and 1 large yolk at room temperature. And those are just whisked together here to mix those. And then the other ingredients is going to call for 18 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I have that sitting outside in the Florida heat, actually softening up a little bit. But 2 1/4 sticks or 18 tablespoons of unsalted butter softened. And then we're going to need 14 ounces of sugar, or 2 cups of sugar. So the filling that we're going to put inside the dough here is going to be comprised of 3/4 cup of sugar. A lot of sugar, a lot of butter. But anyway, 3/4 cup or 5 1/4 ounces of sugar, 3 tablespoons of low or no sugar needed fruit pectin, a pinch of salt, 10 ounces of fresh or thawed frozen blueberries. We've got those right here. And then 1 teaspoon of grated lemon zest plus 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and get started with making the cake. So let's get that process underway here. Alright, so to get started, it says using a stand mixer fitted with a paddle, beat the butter and the sugar on medium-high speed until pale and fluffy. So let's go ahead and do that. That's probably about medium speed. It says to do it about 3 minutes, so I'm going to start the timer. And we'll let that go for 3 minutes and then be right back. Alright, so that looks light and fluffy to me, and I'm going to bring this down now to about medium speed there. And it says to put in about half of the eggs. So I'm going to pour in roughly about half of the eggs there on medium speed. And I'm just going to let that mix for about 15 seconds. And then I'm going to repeat it with the remaining eggs. It's already looking good, and it's just butter and sugar. So let's go ahead now and add the rest of the eggs here. Alright, so the rest of the eggs have now been added. And now what it calls for is to add 1/3 of the flour mixture. So we're going to add roughly about a cup of the flour mixture. Making a mess. That's about a third. I can smell the cinnamon in there. I hope I said cinnamon in the recipe or in the ingredients. 1/2 of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon in there. And then it wants half of this buttermilk mixture. Whoops. I'm making a mess. Alright, so there's half of the buttermilk mixture. And then I'm going to add the remaining reduce speed to low and add 1/3 of the flour mixture. Oops, okay, that should have been actually on low, so maybe that's why I was making a mess when I needn't be. But anyway, so that's all mixing there, and then repeat using half of the remaining flour mixture and all the remaining butter. Okay, so I'm going to add all the rest of this. Right there. It's got to be an easier way to add this flour and stuff to this bowl, I would imagine. But it's the end result that matters, right? Alright, so let's add the rest of the buttermilk. Here we go. Repeat here. Okay, scrape down the bowl, add the remaining flour mixture, mix at medium-low speed until batter is thoroughly combined. About 15 seconds. Alright, great. So now that's quite a mess, as you can see. So there's our batter. You can see that. And I'm going to mix that with a spatula to get any of the remaining flour mixed in. And then I'm going to cover that and get started on the filling. Alright, so getting started on the filling, it calls for the 3/4 of a cup of the sugar, 3 tablespoons of the low or no sugar added pectin, and a pinch of salt. So that's what I've got going here in a small saucepan. Actually, I don't think this is a saucepan. This is more of a frying pan, so I'm gonna get out a saucepan here and put this in the saucepan. So anyway, we'll get that going, and then it says to process the blueberries in a blender until it's mostly smooth, about 1 minute. So I'm going to get the blueberries blended here as well, and be right back. Oh, and those of you wondering, yeah, these are heart-shaped. These are heart-shaped measuring cups, and you're probably sitting out there wondering, what kind of man is this guy? With heart-shaped cooking-ware. And these were actually a Valentine's Day present. So I leave them here in the kitchen, and they're more for decoration, but I do use them from time to time. So anyway, today is one of those times. So there's the explanation for the heart-shaped measuring cups. Alright, next up is to take these beautiful blueberries and process them into a blender, or process them in a blender rather, until smooth, just about 1 minute. And what I've got here is a beautiful Vitamix machine, and I'm going to put that on variable speed and turn it on and just go up there for about 1 minute. Not too high. I'll just let those go and just get them nice and smooth. Alright, so the blueberries are nice and smooth, as you can see. And now the recipe says to take a teaspoon of the lemon zest right here. So I got a nice teaspoon of the lemon zest. Add that to the sugar and the pectin. And then also what I want to do is I want to take a 1/4 cup of the blueberry mixture right here. Take a 1/4 cup of this. And I'm going to add that to the sugar as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that to a nice simmer. So we'll mix that up and dissolve we'll get the sugar and the pectin nice and dissolved and bring this to a nice simmer here real shortly. Okay, so it took a little bit, but this mixture now is just simmering. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer that over to a bowl and let it cool here. Alright, so the mixture of the pectin and blueberries, that has cooled for about 3 minutes, and I added the rest of the blueberries. And I gotta tell you, this is looking pretty good. And now I'm going to add the lemon juice. There you go. So you got the lemon juice. And I'm just going to let this, I'm going to mix it real well. And it says to let this set for about 8 minutes. So I'm going to do that and clean up the kitchen. And as I was actually cleaning up the kitchen in between breaks here, you know, I wanted to let everybody know that don't take me too seriously here in the kitchen. This is just all about having fun. You know, all the videos that I do on YouTube, it's just all about having fun. So don't all you diehard cooks out there, you know, everywhere, don't be too critical of these little attempts that I do in the kitchen here, cooking up a storm. Okay, so let's let this cool, and we'll be back in just a moment. We'll get this inside the batter and then into the oven. Alright, as the saying goes, here comes the fun part. So I've taken half of the batter and I put it in this bundt cake, or bundt pan rather here, and it says to take a spoon and make a 1/2 inch channel through the center of the batter. So I'm going to carefully go around and make a 1/2 inch channel. Feel like a little kid, you know, playing in the sand or something. But I'm going to make my 1/2 inch channel. I'm just going to go around a few times here and make my channel. Alright, there you go. And then off camera I'm going to lick the spoon. Oh, that's good. Alright. I can just hear my mom thinking, Tom, don't reuse that spoon. So, alright, Mom. And I did wash my hands. Okay, so now it says to take half of the blueberry mixture. Nice, it's a nice, got a nice thick mixture to it here. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. That's set. Okay, so now we got that, and we're going to spoon this into the little channel there, half of it at least. It looks like a lot of blueberry mixture here. So we're going to spoon all that into the channel. And then we're going to take a butter knife and we're going to swirl that into the batter. So let's get quite a bit of blueberry mix here, I must say. Okay, so there you go. We got that in there, and then it says to using a butter knife or a small offset spatula, thoroughly swirl the filling into the batter. There should be no large pockets of filling remaining. And then we're gonna, so I guess we're just gonna swirl that into the batter, just like that. I bet that's gonna come out really nice. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna finish swirling this and then put in the remaining half of the batter. You know, it's interesting, I was talking to none other than my mother as I began this recipe, and her observation was, she said, "Tom, that seems like a lot of work, you know, making this bundt cake." And of all the people to say that, you know, for I don't know how many years she cooked dinner for 10 children every night, you know, so for her to say making a bundt cake is a lot of work, you know, that's saying something. So anyway, let's get the rest of the batter in here. All right, almost there. I've got the remaining batter, and I did my little channel through there, and now I'm just going to come through and swirl this blueberry mixture through the batter. Boy, this is good. You know, Mom, I know you're watching this video. I wish you were here in the kitchen with me, baking up a storm. So here we go. It says no large pockets of the blueberry. I bet this is going to just taste really wonderful. And there you have it. So we'll put this in the oven here in just a moment and see what we get. I bet it's going to be good. Okay, I've got a confession to make. You know, all this effort for baking and everything, there's really a hidden agenda on my mind, or a hidden little motivation, if you will. You know what I always loved about being in the kitchen with Mom, you know, on a Saturday afternoon when all the other kids were out playing baseball and everything? What I really loved more than anything about being in the kitchen with Mom was licking the bowl. Boy, that was always the best part of being in the kitchen, was getting to lick the bowl, you know? So anyway, it's another item on the Valentine's Day present. This came right along with the heart-shaped measuring cups. So anyway, let's get this bundt cake into the oven. Okay, so it's been an hour, and the blueberry swirl bundt cake's been baking away, and as you can see, as my little dish towel there says bon appetit, and let's eat. So first we gotta do a little test here. Let's open this up. Look at that. Oh, that looks good. So let's pull this out and so I'm going to stick a little stick in here and see. You know what? I think it's done. Now that looks pretty darn good. So I'm going to bring this out of the oven Look at that. There you go. Doesn't that look good? Now I got to turn it upside down, of course, you know, but we're going to let it cool for a little bit. So, and then just one last thing, and that is the taste test. So we'll be back for the taste test here shortly. All right, so now the big moment. After all that hard work, as Mom put it, you know, making the strawberry bundt cake, comes the big taste, and who better to taste and judge my cake than.
That looks good though. That looks good.
It looks good? Okay, go ahead and try it. See if it's good. It's a blueberry bundt cake.
Terrific. Very good. Very good.
There you go, folks.
Oh.
So coming right from Dad's mouth, the bundt cake, and here I'll give it a taste.
That's good, Tom. Your dinner's good, your cake's good, everything's good.
It is good.
Oh, delicious.
All right. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the recipe, and hope that you make it as well. All right. You want to say goodbye?
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yes, really good.